It's been 4 years since Black Panther premiered in cinemas, and a lot has happened with the franchise since then. Phase 4 has been mid, to put it at best. It's been more of passing of the guard, but Wakanda Forever proves to be the revival of the MCU, that the franchise still has the ability to produce compelling stories and not a She-Hulk ending. The MCU's writers have been focused on jokes over substance this phase. Ryan Coogler had an incredible relationship and friendship with Chadwick Boseman. Coogler finished writing a script before Chadwick's passing. To go back with all the emotion, to write a script they had once worked on with your dearest friend was a challenge for the crew of Black Panther. To create a film about Black Panther, but without their own Black Panther. What we ended up receiving was Black Panther Wakanda Forever, a beautiful but flawed tribute. Wakanda Forever is a love letter and tribute to Chadwick Boseman from the cast and crew of the Black Panther franchise. This film isn't just composed of action sequences, it has a lot to say about grief, but not everything here works. I don't want any misconceptions about this film. This film is No, this film is powerful, but drives on rough terrain. Even with Ryan Coogler at the wheel, you still have to remember it's an MCU film. You still have got the tie-ins to other MCU projects that distract from the true core of the film. You've got character decisions solely based on advancing the plot. These decisions come in without any character motive. Coogler has always been out to tell a story on overcoming grief and accepting loss even though it's extremely painful. Coogler had to tackle how you grieve a man who is an inspiration to many people, not just in the fictional world, but in the real world as well. The prologue of this film sets up the roller coaster character development for Shuri. She has to go through a deceptive journey to get to a point where she can take the mantle of her brother. The opening of the film depicts Black Panther's death and how, despite the efforts of Shuri, she fails to save her brother. This damages her. Rather than grieving, she shuts that side down of her and convinces herself externally that technology and science are everything, while internally, the mindset that she was grown upon in Wakanda disappears but still floats. Her development is heightened when she blames herself for T'Challa's death, that she could have done something to prevent the death of her beloved brother. Grief brings out the ugliest emotions to the surface. It brings out a completely different version of us. We see this through Queen Ramonda and Shuri, especially at the back end of the film, where our anger dictates our response. Killmonger is ultimately who will they become if they let their anger define them. How do you overcome that thirst for anger? How can you use your grief to build yourself up, to make yourself a better person? The royal Wakandan family has lost so much. The Wakandans have lost the only figure that was giving them hope. Black Panther. Talakan was Wakanda before the movie, living hidden from the world, using vibranium to fuel their daily needs. A lot of parallels can be drawn from Namor and T'Challa. They both rule their isolated nation and are their protectors. But one huge thing draws them away from each other. T'Challa is seen as the king, while Namor is seen as a god. The moral actions of Namor align closely with Killmonger, where everything was taken from Killmonger. Namor lives with the fear that everything will be taken from him. Shuri steps into the mantle of Black Panther with intentions. To not become the protector of Wakanda, to not become the figure of hope to the people of Wakanda, but for vengeance. As a side note, the death of Queen Ramonda didn't sit right with me. I mean, I understand the reasoning behind it, to fully immerse Shuri into the Black Panther mantle, but killing such a character was a bold move within the nature of the film. When Shuri enters the ancestor plane, instead of her mother, her father, she sees Killmonger. Shuri is stunned, confused, and angry about why she sees Killmonger, a figure that she despises so much instead of her mother. She held so much anger and hate in her heart that she brought Killmonger into her vision. She's having a hard time mourning her brother's death and her mother's. She's staring into her own vision if she continues down this path. Killmonger was there as a warning, not a sentence. This film is about conquering your wounds and becoming a better person. It's stitched together with inconsistent pacing. I, for one, did not care about the Ross subplot with Valentina to set up Thunderbolts or even Captain America 4. Coogler's visions were limited, and it was visibly clear. He should have ignored the tie-ins with other projects. The whole subplot collapses it on itself. The movie is cluttered with excessive plot lines that often make it hard to feel the emotional weight. The messiness makes it more interesting. But with all of that, through all the mandated tie-ins into the universe, driving with one eye, you can still see the passion, love, and vision of Ryan Coogler and his team's dedication to honoring the memory and legacy of Chadwick Boseman. Wakanda Forever.